Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business on this morning's edition of Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, where you literally cannot sleep on the Dallas Cowboys. Things can happen late in the evening, late at night, first thing in the morning. So you want to be up to speed with all that is America's team. Boy. It's rough right now at the moment for the Cowboys. Remember one thing that I told you guys before, that you really don't know what teams are till really about October. You can see some trends. You'll see some ups and downs. You'll see some teams that you think are going to be really good that start out 4-0 and end up falling on their face and not making the playoffs, and teams that have slow starts that get it together. I'm a positive guy, so I'm going to try and look for the positive signs. Now, when I say don't sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, some people can't sleep. I got a email this morning that this person is worried about the team, the offense, and so forth, and how negative it is getting in Dallas, that it's near rioting. Understand, the NFL season is 16 games. And very rarely does a team win them all. We've only had one team that ended up with a perfect record, and that was the 73 Dolphins. We came close to a second one, but they ended up falling on their face in the Super Bowl against the New York stinking Giants. A season is a series of highs and lows. We have to make the playoffs. It's the totality of a season. Last week looked bad. It's awful. And a hard place to play. And I know everybody's going to say, you're just making excuses. No, I'm not making excuses. It's the reality of football. You win some that you shouldn't. You lose some that you shouldn't. Sometimes you're going to seem completely lost and out of sync. Other times you're going to look like world beaters. It's just the nature of the beast. It's one of the reasons why we love football so much, is because it's completely unpredictable. To say that I am satisfied with what's going on this season so far, no. The fact that the Cleveland doo-doo Browns are ranked Cowboys should set off alarm bells at the Star. This needs to be a team that's looking for answers. And dare I say, looking for identity. Do you honestly know what this team's identity is on offense? Now, I can tell you defense is ramping it up. It's getting lit. It's beating the man in front of you. It's a pass rush. I can see an identity beginning to develop with the defense. The offense, I'm not so sure. You got a great running back who right now is averaging 5.7 yards a carry, but we're not really running the ball. It seems like we're trying to make Dak a pocket quarterback when that's not really his best traits. I tell you what, while we have a moment here, we've got 4 days, 3 hours, 57 minutes, and 8 seconds before we kick off against the Lions. And the team shows up for practice today. Hopefully with a better game plan than what they had last week. But let's take a look at this. This is the 11 sacks of Dak Prescott on this season. Some of it's on Dak Prescott holding on to the ball too long. Some of it's on the offensive line for not holding up their players. Some of it's on the wide receivers because nobody's open. But let's take a look at these real quick here. Got to get rid of the ball. Got to get rid of the ball. Boom. He's trying to do a Tony Romo there and wait for somebody to get open, but he can't get space. The Carolina Panthers have perfect rush discipline in here because they're not giving you lanes to rush. Now that one, purely just not enough time. Boom. Not enough time. Boom. Got to get rid of it. Boom. Clearly, Tyron Smith gets beat. Boom. Got to find somebody open or get rid of the ball. His eyes are looking downfield. For everybody that says that he's not trying to go downfield, but I'm assuming, because we're not having the whole view here, that I'm assuming that nobody's necessarily open downfield. What's on this is every one of those sacks has been from the shotgun in the pocket. And this is where coaching comes in and says, okay, we're sucking right there. We need to move the pocket around because basically defenses are learning rush discipline. You see Carolina Panthers are basically making sure there's not a lane to step up into. You got to start moving Dak around because Dak has, in his past, been much better on the move outside of the pocket, doing bootlegs. Move this around. Get some variance in what you're doing. We still seem to be stuck where Scott Linehan last year had basically 5 passing routes, which is insane. Clearly, our offensive line is not giving as much time as they used to. So as a coach, you've got to analyze and look and say, okay, what can we do different? Like I was saying yesterday with Seattle. Seattle knew Russell Wilson eaten alive. So let's do 3 and 5 step drops. Let's run the hell out of the football to protect our quarterback. We don't seem to be able to make that. It seems like we are still trying to do the same thing that we did with Tony Romo. Dak Prescott is not Tony Romo. Dak doesn't do the same things well that Tony Romo did, and the things that Dak does well, Tony Romo didn't do. This is where you look at the coaching and say you've got to take what the player has and make the best of it. If there's any criticism on the Cowboys, it seems like they've been great with taking first-round players in an offense and not screwing them up. You look at the offensive linemen we've taken in the first round. Done great. But when you look at guys that need to develop, that are lower in the rung of being drafted, that have talent or very raw, they never seem to be able to develop that. You look at tight end for us. And all the years that we had Jason Witten was great. But we were never able to develop a tight end. And we had Marty B here. Marty B. When you had Marty B and Jason Witten, both, how the hell were we able to do a 2 tight end set similar to what New England was doing? You had 2 great tight ends. That is saying, you know what? I got Jason Witten over here, and I got this young buck, this young stud, who can be a beast. Let's develop some plans around using these guys together. That's what New England does. But we still, if you look at this offense, still are doing exactly what we did the last 11 weeks. That has not worked. I hope that Scott Linehan is feeling some of that pressure, that heat, because I believe Cowboy fans are ready to start tarring and feathering some people. From Dak to Linehan to Garrett, there's a revolt going on right now. And they need to get a win in Detroit and get this offense turned around quickly, or it's going to be ugly. Now, I still believe, and I'm not ready to go ahead and get off on the Cowboys. The fact that we've got defensive players, the fact that we're going to be missing Sean Lee for a couple of weeks and nobody is panicking, tells you a lot about this team and its makeup. The defense seems to have corrected a lot of their flaws. You can't argue with Byron Jones finally being in the our and that's because of coaching. A coach that recognizes this guy ain't a safety. He needs to be a cornerback. This guy who changes from being a bend don't break to an aggressive style defense. That this is a change in philosophy and coaching and is making the difference on the defense. And as long as you got a defense, especially late in the season, you got a lot. So I'm not ready to give up on the 2018 Dallas Cowboys like a lot of people. We got people already saying, let's tank the season so we can get rid of Jason Garrett. I ain't ready to do that. Not when you're only one game out of first and we're still in September. So keep the faith. Hopefully we get this thing together. Hopefully we get stuck on stupid and try some different things and really look at things. And like I said yesterday, you got to run the damn ball. You got to get Dak some confidence. Get him outside of the pocket. Get some easy plays. You need to start working on different things other than the same thing. Everybody in the NFL knows exactly what you're doing right now, and you need to change that. So as always, friends, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Waiting for a phone call from the vet to see if we're going to be able to go back and get our dog today. He had surgery, and hopefully he won't be paralyzed. He's not in pain anymore. So we're going to see if we have to go get him. So hopefully we'll find out something in the next hour's time. So thanks to everybody for all the thoughts and all the prayers for the dog. And let's turn those thoughts and prayers to our Dallas Cowboys. I'll see you guys soon.